backyard area. It's hard to explain because it's in the city and all houses are clustered together. So there was an L-shaped walkway out her back door. She had like French doors and brick and lots of flora, if you will. It was like a log cabin internally. Her home felt like a log cabin. And anyway, she had an L-shaped backyard area, if you will, and pathway. So you would walk around the house that was actually on the corner. So the house that was on the corner was kind of surrounded by her backyard. So she had this side entrance on Panama that was really a gate to her L-shaped backyard, if you will. She had like a little fire pit-ish, like really for cooking or... we have a train coming. Oh, just a caboose. Or I guess the engine. I'll say caboose, but it's engine 3397 CSX. So every once in a while they run tests down here. So there's another entryway just where that caboose is kind of stopping for a second. So anyway, wow, isn't this amazing? I thought about feeding the birds. They have the Riverwalk boardwalk that goes all the way down. Now it goes way down. It's the Christian Crescent connector bridge. I can kind of see the bridge. I can't believe it. I can kind of see the bridge. There's a white post somewhere in here. There's the South Street Bridge is here. Then beyond that you can see an angled so it's kind of it's hard to see. I don't know if the camera picked it up. It's like I can't believe you can see the bridge from here, kind of. Anyway, I love coming down to the Riverwalk. I don't have a lot of work over here. I kind of feel like in a way there's a little bit of like therapeutic support going on, even though I'd rather make more money like a normal person. But the primary goal, it seems, was to have brought down the crazy making machine that was cast upon me in 2011. We are talking, they can turn someone who's nice, professional, quiet into a raging maniac, and people who aren't that bright would assume you were a drug addict. Never assume that people are a drug addict. I am sick of people assuming people are drug addicts. Unless you have all-out proof, like pock marks all over an arm and people slumped over in Kensington. Otherwise, just get an education, because it is so annoying. I was in Florida and everybody assumes everybody's a drug addict all the time, which means the DEA must reign supreme in Florida. Delaware's a little bit the same. I will tell you that there are entities that could take over a person, and they have millions in the minions, and these people will do their bidding for them. So you have people who like to rile people up on the ground, and they're just the street level. Then you have the higher person who can drive you straight into flipping out all over the place. And say you were like an Ivy League educated person and you expected to become a surgeon. And they have stories like this in the news, and all of a sudden something whack starts happening and they can drive you from 0 to 150 miles per hour in a minute. All of a sudden you're yelling down the street. All of a sudden you're lunging at someone in a crowd because you're pissed off because someone messed up your entire world that you worked hard to achieve. So I'm just here to say, if you see someone yelling down the street, even the people who seem like prophets or mystics or what have you, they might be doing someone else's bidding for them without totally understanding why. They know they can get up every morning and they're not laying in bed. They know that they're out here, you know, say spewing out epithets or what have you. And it could be because they are heavily handled by someone who has a very serious agenda, or a not so serious one. There are people with an agenda just to have a show. They need a city to look like a city. They need a town to look like a town. You never know who you might channel. Everyone's a channeler on some level. That's why they call it channels. We're all Radioheads on some level. And praise be to God, you get a good channel that keeps you going so you can live a quality life and not look like a crazy person on the street who flips out. And then everyone's like, oh, she's a drug addict. He's a drug addict. Meanwhile, that person never touched drugs in their entire life. These people need an education. They just assume drug addict all the time. I'm so sick of it. You could have the cleanest person, a green juicer. I was raw vegan green juicing yogi, and I knew that people could do stuff where it's like I'm flipping out, wanting to yell at somebody on the street. I have yelled at people on the street, and it's like, I don't do this. Back in the day, like, something started in that realm, and I would call my mom saying, I don't know how to not, I have no idea how you control it, because no one can actually control it. You wouldn't be, I don't care how strong you think you are. We have Marines, we have all kinds of people flipping out all the time. Why? Because the wrong person was on the radio waves, and they think they're all that in a bag of chips, and they suck. That's right. That's exactly right. So I would call my mom saying, oh my God, I was heading down Bainbridge, I totally flipped out. Some guy opened his car door in front of my bike while I was riding down the street, and I think he did it on purpose because it was the smirk on his face, like he kind of had an attitude, and it's like, I don't want to wind up in a big bike accident again, because these people are death junkies and want to cause injury to bring you down, because it costs money every time. It costs you time, money, and your health every time someone's able to do something to you on purpose. And I flipped out more than I would have in the past. In fact, I flipped out on someone who you probably wouldn't want to flip out on, because it would be in your best interest not to provoke someone who's 10 times bigger than you. A male, intimidating male 10 times bigger who looks like a thug from West Philly, okay? And I'm like, and because I was flipping out so much, I was like, somebody's gonna call the police on me because I look like a crazy person. And I'm someone who reads books, writes books. I am a totally different person. All our people are like library-ish people. So I was screaming so much, I was like, someone's gonna call the police. So then I thought, I'll call the police first. So I called the police to say, I just want you to know I'm flipping out on the street because this and this happened, and I was afraid people would call on me. But I was, someone tried to put me in danger. The thing is, it goes higher up. It's not just the person who opened the door. In fact, I would now believe that the person who opened the door was heavily influenced and or totally puppeted to do so for someone's agenda in the sky. I say the sky, I just mean these jackasses who have maybe over $1 million, who sit around in their homes and they get to control people's puppet strings all day. And you always wonder, like, what do people do, or what do they